So I woke up at 3 in the morning with a realization that what I said to you yesterday when we were filming, or day before yesterday, whatever it was, I admire that about you, talking about Little League.
Oh, when we made the other clip?
Yeah.
The other clip the other day about the praise tip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I realized that was a great example of really shitty praise. And so I wanted to get your advice on how I could have said that to you in a way that was more helpful. Part of the tip, because I think the way I said it wasn't especially helpful.
Okay. Well, first, thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that, because I actually had a weird reaction to it. I'm not sure I immediately have any tips for you on how to make it better, but maybe we could start. I could share with you how it felt.
That'd be great.
A little bit. Yeah. So I'd say a couple things. One is actually I'm not sure that it's the case that you admire me for coaching Little League. There's a couple reasons for that. One is, first of all, I know you. I don't know if despise is the right word, but you hate sports generally, and so the idea that you would admire me for being a Little League coach would seem just a little bit out of alignment with how I think you think about sports in general. So for me, it struck me as a little bit of an odd comment. Number one, but even if I sort of take that sort of skepticism aside, just take the comment at face value and assume it's true, it's just not at all clear to me what about coaching Little League that you admire, right? And so that'd be interesting to know. But definitely was missing from that conversation.
Thank you for telling me that.
Sure.
And I feel, so just to make sure I heard you before I launch into my complicated feelings about sports and the rest of it is, I think the reason the reason I felt like it wasn't helpful is that the way you said thank you led me to think that you didn't believe me. And now, having raised it with you, I realize you didn't believe me, I think, for two reasons. One is that I'm sort of dismissive of sports, I guess, or I've given you the reason to think that I hate sports, which is, I can understand why you would come to that conclusion, given some of the stuff I say. And two, that you had no idea why I would admire that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So why don't I start with why I admire it, and then unless you have to jump on something, I can psychoanalyze my feelings about sports.
Yeah, I just want to finish coding up the fire here.
Right now, or is now a bad time?
Let's talk this through.
Okay, cool. So here are the more specific reasons why I admire, why I love it by the way, there's a third reason why I thought you didn't believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I once made a snarky remark, which maybe you don't even remember, because I remember afterwards that I shouldn't have said it quite that way. But at one point, because one of the things about Little League is you have to leave early to coach it, right, with some frequency, which I respect because I like what you're doing, and I'm about to tell you exactly why. I'm fine with. But I think I said one day as you were leaving, I've been encouraging Andy, my husband, to coach Little League because he loves baseball, and he keeps telling me he doesn't have time, he can't, and I keep saying you should just do it. Russ does it, actually. You're now like a topic of conversation at the dinner table, and I think one day as you were leaving, I said, now I understand why Andy thinks he doesn't have time to do. And then after I said that, I was like, that was kind of a shitty thing to say as he's leaving, and already feeling bad about it. So I'm sorry for having said that.
Yeah, that's okay. I do remember that, and you're probably right. That probably did factor into my skeptical thank you. Just didn't occur to me until you brought it back. So,
right.
Okay.
Sorry to bring up a sore subject, but I wanted to apologize for it.
Okay.
Not that it bothered you that much.
So somehow, despite all these things,
I admire it.
All right, great.
Okay. So here are the reasons why I admire it. I think that first of all, I admire what a good father you are. And so I think this is part of being a good father, and I obviously admire that. But I think even more specifically in terms of the work that we do together, you've learned a lot about how to coach people, how to mentor people, how to give these kids feedback. And I think that's brought a lot of richness to the work that we're doing here together. So that's the the journal, the website you do with, what do you call it, the positive coaching, where you tell the kids what they did right?
Yeah, so after every game and practice, during the games and practices, I keep a notebook of what the kids have done well.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in practice, I'll read that to them in front of the group so that everyone can understand what to do. But then I also memorialize it with an article on a team webpage that we have after every game and practice. So the kids can read it and they can internalize. They can talk about things with their parents, etc.
I love that. And I think it's directly relevant to the kind of stuff that we're doing here. So I think that the work that you do coaching these kids actually makes you better at your job here. So I like that about it. I also in general admire your ability to figure out what's important to you and to make a space for it in your life. Like, not everybody can do that. I don't do as good a job of it as you do, and I'm trying to be more like that. I'm trying to get out of here for more of my kids' stuff. So,
like penguin plays.
Like the penguin plays, which you helped me, encouraged me to do. Yeah, that was important. I was like so glad I made my son's penguin play. So I like that a lot. I think it helps us work better together. That you make it a priority and you help me learn how to make it a priority. So I think those are the two main reasons why I admire it. Three main reasons: great father, helps us do better work, and helps me be a better parent. So that seems like a win-win-win.
Now that is some radically candid praise.
Good. I'm glad I got it better.
All right.
And then in terms of sports, I actually think sports are great. I'm not good at sports. In fact, if you want me to in a second, I'll show a picture of you playing basketball with my kids, and my kids are 7 and they're slaughtering me. You'll see how bad. So sports make me feel inadequate. So I guess sometimes I deal with that feeling of inadequacy by mocking sports, but I actually think there's a lot of great stuff about sports, and I hope my kids play sports, and I hope my husband coaches them playing sports. It's not the thing I'm delivering to the family.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I need to get back to coding up this fire.
All right.
So, but thanks for following up on that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cool.